Hello and welcome to Outdoor First Aid. My name is Will. Today we're going to be having a quick look at outdoor first aid provisions. And one of the first parts of this is going to be outdoor specific first aid kits. Let's dive a little deeper.
For this multi-day camp, we've decided to take a medium response bag, an AED, and 460 litres of compressed oxygen, as well as the all-important cellular blanket. Now let's be realistic. If I'd come on foot rather than in my vehicle, this kit would be much smaller, and it would therefore contain a fraction of the contents. So let's say we're off on a bike trip along the coastline, nothing too remote. We've got our bikes ready and everything packed ready for 5 to 7 days. By the time our gear is loaded, our trusted kit needs to be left behind. As we mentioned before, it's just not realistic. As you know, there's plenty of outdoor specific first aid kits on the market. My advice is always to choose a workplace first aid kit that meets BS 8599-1 standards, and build a tailored kit from there. Just remember to always help others identify that there's a first aid kit in your bag or on your person. The Health and Safety Executive First Aid Needs Assessment, although specific to workplace environments, can give us considerations for what we may want to add or remove from our unique outdoor first aid kit. So instead of looking at Gucci items and choosing them from the screen, let's have a look at a list of considerations which I just put together. This list, of course, is not definitive, and I'll just go over some of these. Feel free to pause the video if you wish to absorb all of the considerations. So is the kit intended for individual use? If so, does it contain any prescribed medication which others need to be aware of? Is there any relevant documentation such as individual healthcare plans? Is anybody pregnant within the group? Any medical conditions, be it current, past, or maybe even being tested for? Any allergies, signs or symptoms of withdrawal from the group, stress or anxiety with an individual that you've noticed? Should the kit be waterproof if I'm canoeing? Does it need to be able to withstand direct or indirect impact? What's the nature of our activity? We may think blisters are common for walkers, but rope burn is friction too. Maybe you're bouldering or caving, dust, or maybe a bit of grit gets in the eye without protective eyewear. Downhill cycling can lead to trauma within the blink of an eye. Heat stroke and dehydration can come from too much time in the open water. But on the other end of the scale, we've got to think about shock and possibly hypothermia. What environmental factors am I considering? With poor lighting, anything can happen. Confined spaces can lead to soft tissue injuries, bumps to the head, the knees, the elbows, the ankles. Hyperventilation, stress, anxiety can also happen. If I'm not wearing boots with ankle support, well, even a seasoned walker can roll an ankle when nature tests our agility. Is the group splitting into smaller satellite groups within a few days of the trip? Are there enough first aid provisions to go around? Who are the qualified first aiders? Where's the nearest hospital, pharmacy, GP surgery, mountain rescue, etc.? Are we expected to have mobile signal throughout the trip? A final consideration is to ensure that our outdoor first aid kit is always fully stocked and of course in date. This kit here from a friend is almost 13 years out of date. With all those considerations in mind, let's work backwards from identifying the injuries or medical conditions that could be the most common. And now let's consider the appropriate treatment and what first aid supplies we'd require to administer a good level of first aid in an outdoor environment. On your own or by group discussion, test yourself by looking at the following 4 activities and make a written or a mental note on at least 2 common injuries that we could consider and what first aid supplies we would need to administer treatment.